Hi and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time with us, welcome. If you have been with us before, welcome back. And if you just saw the title and decided to click on, welcome, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Today, we are going to be talking about these 4 budget-friendly airlines. Now, I have done this video maybe about 7 times, you guys. So today, we're going to make it quick, easy, and to the point. Okay? The 4 airlines we're going to be talking about is Norse Airlines, which is a sub-airlines of Norwegian Airlines. We're going to be comparing them to Spirit Airlines. We have easyJet, Sun Express. Whew. So let's get started, shall we? All right, you guys, here we go. The first one we're going to talk about is Norse Airlines. All of these airlines are budget-friendly airlines. They are bare fare, and you can also add on to the fare as you go, such as Spirit. Most of these are UK airlines, but again, that's why I'm comparing them to Spirit. Norse Airlines is closely compared to Spirit Airlines because they have the big seats. The difference with their big seats is they have a little curtain. So their first class is like a business class, like Spirit's big seats. But the fare is only included with your under the seat bag. So everything else you have to pay for. Everything is bare fare. Now with Norse Airlines, they only been in business for a year. And if you want drinks, anything you want on the plane, you have to pay for it. Now, you can bundle it and move to those big seats, and then you could get you a drink and maybe a blanket. But anything else, if you're in the economy, you're going to pay for everything. That's with Norse. But I have a story time with Norse. I went ahead and I paid for my seats. I don't pay for my bags and nothing else. I just want to make sure I have a good seat in the plane, okay? So, especially since it was a 9-hour flight. So what I did was I paid for my seats. We went to check in at Norse Airlines in JFK's airport. And when we got there, they went ahead and the young lady was like, oh, I went ahead to put my bags on there. She was like, oh, do you want to upgrade? It's only $50 per person. And I was like, sure. So I got to experience the upgrade business class. I got my blanket, all my drinks, all my food, everything. That was going. Coming back, when we flew from London back to JFK, and we asked to do the same thing because, of course, I had paid for my seats. The young lady, when she was checking us in, told us, no, it's going to be $250 per person. Nah, that was more than the flight. Not doing that one. So I went ahead and stayed in my economy in the seats that I bought. But when we went upstairs, well, this airport upstairs was where the gates were. When we went upstairs, they asked me at the gate if I wanted to upgrade. I said, sure, how much is it? I act like I ain't know from downstairs. Because sometimes, she was like, there was a lot of seats. Sometimes, they give you a better rate at the gate. So she said, well, I'm going to have to take your seats out and let me look. So she took me out of my seats and she told me $250 per person. Oh, that's the same. I don't want that. So she went ahead. She said, oh, I can't put you back in your seats that you paid for. Because I can't, it won't allow me unless it charges you. What? I already paid. It can't charge me. No. So she really didn't know what she was doing. And she didn't know how to override it or do any of that. So we stood up there for a while. So finally she got my husband into his seat. But she still couldn't get me in my seat. And I said, well, ma'am, I paid for both of them. Like, well, what are you talking about? So she tried, and she couldn't do it. So finally, it was getting closer to the time, and I'm like, look, ma'am, as late as you wait, somebody else gonna grab my seat, and I done already paid for this seat. But she couldn't do it. So she said, it's gonna charge. So finally, my husband said, how much is gonna charge? Just pay. So she came back, she said it was only $6, luckily. Because if it was way more, or how much I paid for my seat, that seat would have been gone. But I would have been very upset, and I would have been contacting Norse Airlines. So if you're going to upgrade, make sure you do it coming to London, because I'm sorry, Norse, the UK don't know what they're doing. Y'all need to train them. But yeah, so that was Norse. That was my experience with Norse. A little bit of story time in there. But yeah, so Norse.com, Norse Flight. You can go to Norse.com to visit them. But yeah, so they're budget friendly. They're really good in New York. And but the economy actually wasn't that bad. You just have to buy everything you want. You have to buy everything, including the blanket. Okay? They barely give you headphones, but they do give you free headphones if they have them. but they're very fair. They're much like Spirit if you know anything about Spirit. Speaking of Spirit, let's go ahead and put them in. But let me rate Norse before we move on to Spirit. But out of 1 to 10, if Norse London was like the one in New York, I would have given them a higher rating. But I'm going to give them a 7.5. It wasn't bad at all. But, you know, just because the London needs to be a little more trained, I'm going to give them a 7.5. Now, let's go to Spirit. Now, if you haven't seen my video before, I did a Bear Fair unpacking video with Spirit. When I had this little bitty bag and I put a whole bunch of stuff in to actually see if I could get the Bear Fair. And I got the Bear Fair. But with Spirit, we have been in the big seats before. I've been in the back of the plane before, and everything again is Bear Fair. And if you flew Spirit before, you know they're Bear Fair. And they don't even try to bring you around no drinks or nothing. You better not even look at them too hard to ask them, because they're going to be like, where your credit card? So with Spirit, we're gonna for rating sake, for the people that know Spirit, we're gonna rate Spirit a 7. And Spirit is a 7 because their Bear Fair is Bear Fair. And if you can pack in those little bitty, and the good thing about Spirit is not like these other ones I'm going to tell you about. They don't make you stuff your bag into that. It's not a little bitty. See, theirs is a little bitty cubby hole. Spirit's got a little bigger. It's a little bigger. You can push it down a little bit more and get it in a little cubby so you can get it in an under seat bag. And if you have an under seat bag, Spirit going to let you go. If that underseat bag is bulging a little bit, you're going to pay for carry-on. That's what you're going to do with Norse. But with Spirit, they'll let you slide. That's why I'm going to give them a 7.5. Because Spirit, you know, they're a little bit more lenient than these other ones, okay? The next one we're going to talk about is Sun Express. Sun Express is like a Southwest. Sun Express is a free-for-all. You get what you get when you get there. And not like Southwest, the bags are not included. You still have to pay for the bags. But it's a little more of, you know, get your seats, and they'll pass around maybe a cracker or a little thing of water for you. But they are, again, Bear Fair as well, but they're not as bad as Spirit and Norse. But they're more like a Southwest minus the bags. So with Sun Express, and Sun Express is funny, because when you ride Sun Express, when them pilots land, everybody will clap. They will clap. That's like when I saw that for the first time, I thought it was hilarious. But I understand it. You have to give your pilots their standing ovations. So with them, I give them a 7 point, you know what, I'm going to give Sun Express a 7.6. They're a little bit better than Norse and Spirit, but not a lot. You know, you get what you pay for, okay? So that's what I'm going to give Sun Express. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about easyJet. Now, I know there's a lot of other airlines, y'all. I'm not trying to clown these airlines, but easyJet was a funny. They were funny. Now, Southwest, I have my qualms with Southwest, y'all, because Southwest is not my friend. I don't like Southwest. Southwest, we always having issues with Southwest. So on a 1 to 10 scale, I usually give Southwest a 6, okay? With American Airlines, I always give American Airlines an 8, okay? United, I always give United a 6.5. I mean, I have my calls with everybody. I have my calls with every airline. It's bad, but I do. Okay, I don't think I have gotten an airline that gets a perfect 10. American used to. They don't get them no more. But they used to get a perfect 10 for me. But when I flew easyJet, I wanted to give everybody a +5. And let me explain why. When we booked easyJet, make sure you put your stuff in those little cubby holes, and I'm telling you, mine buzzed just a little bit, and they were not trying to hear it, okay? They make sure they stickler. They gonna make sure you put your bags in there when you going through before you go to baggage claim, and when you come upstairs to go to the gate, they gonna make sure you put your bags in there. They gonna make sure they get every one of your coins to make sure you gonna make that a carry-on and not an underseat bag. Oh my gosh, they are serious about their bags. And if you have a purse and a carry-on, oh, they charge you. If you have a purse and an underseat bag, they charge you one of them as a carry-on. They gonna get their money's worth. I bet to believe you, the EasyJet will get their money's worth, and they're definitely called it EasyJet. But our first ride on EasyJet, after we got through the baggage situation, we go to get on the plane, you guys. And I'm looking down because I can't believe this actually happened to us. Got on the plane. Me and my husband have on our noise cancelers. We listen to our little music, minding our little business. We had our own little row. And I'm going to tell you, the stewardess was so nice. This lady actually was getting on the plane to come find our seats. And she had a row by us, and she gave it a seat and was like, hey, y'all having a whole row to yourself. We had a whole row to ourselves, you guys. So we minding our business, just sitting in our little row. And a guy came up to the front, and it looked like him and another stewardess was going back and forth. So I'm just looking at, we just making sure he doesn't, no hands starts to rumbling over our way. So we look at each other like, oh, do we need to move back or something? And they just going, so then finally the stewardess took him to the back where he came from. So when they got to the back, they were backed up for a little while, and then the guy comes back and he sits next to me. And I'm like, really? No way you sit next to me. So he sits next to me and he like nudges my arm. I'm like, what the heck? So I took my headphones off to see what he was talking about. He was like, I can't believe I'm back there, and there was another person back there, and two other people, and they were cursing all loud. And I'm like, so one of the young ladies asked them to be quiet, and they didn't want to be quiet. So I said, yes, I agree with her. Y'all need to keep it down with all these F-bombs. So he was upset that they were giving F-bombs back there. And we had kids back there, and that's probably why he was upset. So he said he called the stewardess back there to let them know, and the stewardess told him to calm down, and he was like, they need to be reprimanded from using these F-bombs, and he was just upset. And so as he was being upset, there was another guest back there, and he came to him. He said, I'm an undercover retired cop, and I'll have you arrested. So he said, ooh, I was furious. So he said, I came up to the front because how he's going to tell me he's going to have me arrested, and they're back there cursing. So he was mad. He was hot. He was shaking. He was so mad. So I was like, okay. So I put my headphones on because, you don't want to make somebody more upset, like saying how he's an undercover cop and he's retired. How you going to be both? I don't know. But I'm going to just go ahead and keep my headphones on because I don't want to make you mad. You go back there and pop that man in the face. So I'm going to just put my headphones back on. My husband put his headphones back on, and we just look down. So as we looking down, he turns, and I feel him like moving and stuff. He's telling everybody that wants to hear about his situation with the undercover retired cop. So he's like really angry. So then the stewardess came back up there and was like telling him to calm down and stuff. So finally he gets up and he walks to the back. And I'm like, oh, EasyJet, EasyJet. But he just went to get his stuff, and he came back and sat down. And he, his nerves was bad the whole time. You could tell because he was just shaking. He was just ready to get off that plane. So that was my first encounter with EasyJet, and that wasn't too easy. But on the way back, you guys, EasyJet. EasyJet is the only place I know that easy with the alcohol, because them alcohol were flowing. Even though you got to pay for them, they were flowing, and I think that was the problem. Sitting on the plane, me and my husband again with the noise cancelers, we minding our business. Lady stands up, and then the stewardess stand up, and everybody look like they're kind of moving. So we take the headphones off to hear what's going on, and the stewardess said, if anybody sees a cell phone, please look around. Someone has lost their cell phone. So I'm like, oh, everybody up and moving around because of a cell phone. Okay. So I go to put my headphones back in. But before I did that, there's a gentleman that was sitting right behind the lady that lost her cell phone. But he was sitting there because he had family members sitting in the row right in front of us. And he also had family and friends in the back of the plane. So he kept going back and forward from the front to the back, from the front to the back. He'll sit in the front for a little while, talk to his family. He'll sit in the back for a little while. So was helping him look for the phone or whatever. Then he went to the back. And she was still looking for her phone, her and her husband. And she turns to her husband. She said, I think that guy that sat here, he had a white t-shirt on, took my phone. So when she said that, all his family members was looking. So she's moving stuff around. So the guy comes back up to the front after about 5 minutes and sits back down. And her husband asks him, can I look in your seat to see if her phone's there? And he's like, sure. So he stands up. And so his family member whispers to him, they think you have her phone. So he's looking. So then they asked the lady that was sitting next to him in the seat, because she checked her purse to see if maybe her phone was in her purse. So she opened up her purse and let her check her purse. What? And so the guy with the t-shirt got down on the floor to see if he could see it on the floor or something, trying to help. And he was like, they think I took her purse. So he turned to her. He said, you think I took your phone? And the guy said, don't talk to my wife like that. She's just looking for her phone. He said, well, why you think I took your phone? He said, no one said you took her phone. She just was asking where her phone was. Girl said that he took the phone. So he went back to the back, because he like, you know what, if they said I took her phone, I'm getting away from here. So he went back to the back. And when he went to the back, they went and called the stewardess and the pilot. They talking about this man having her phone. So at this point, they told us to put on our seatbelts and everything. What I think they were trying to do was keep him to the back so they wouldn't have no issues. So we sitting down or whatever. After about 5 minutes of everybody looking for her phone, everybody sits down, put on their seatbelts and whatnot, and the husband's still talking to the stewardess in the front. She sits down. While she sits down, now if you ever been on an airplane, y'all, you by the window, you can drop something right there and you can't really see it unless you lean down and look into it or feel down, right? So when she sat down, after about 2 minutes, because we took off the headphones, we want to know what was going on. We got to put on our seatbelts. She said, I found my phone. Like she was right the whole time, right? So at this point, the pilot let them take off the seatbelts or whatever. So the guy comes back up front. So when the guy comes back up front, his family says, she found her phone. He said, oh, you found your phone. Told you I have the phone. So her husband was like, what? Nobody said you had the phone. He said, yeah, they said you had the phone. So the family members, so then he got another family member come to the front. He a real heavy speaking Italian. What we need your phone for? We have a no teeth and we doing very well. What we need your phone for? So he so they bringing other family members to the front and everything, because she never apologized about him taking her phone. So finally, I guess her and her husband felt a little some type of way, because a lot of his family members were starting to come to the front at this point. So they said, have a seat or whatever, and let's get us to say. So in the process of him going back to the back, he said, let me get 2 more Jack Daniels. I said, oh, not the 2 more Jack Daniels. You know what? Let me put these noise cancelers on, and hopefully in the next 25 minutes we'll be landing. And we was. And still, the lady never said, I'm sorry for blaming you for taking my phone. But only on EasyJet show. I don't see that on other planes, y'all. EasyJet, they had the Jack Daniels rolling. They had I see so many bottles. I don't know where the bottles came from. It was like they were just stacked and stacked. People were ordering and ordering and ordering. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to say this, because you're not supposed to drink that much on a plane, but God, dog. EasyJet let it roll, y'all. If y'all want to drink good on EasyJet, make sure you bring your credit card, because you can. Oh my goodness, I thought it was a 2-drink minimum. And not on EasyJet. I guess they from New Orleans too. But I say that to let y'all know those are the budget friendly. And let's go ahead and grade EasyJet before I let y'all go. EasyJet, you get a great, big, huge bowl. And with that note, thank you for watching, and come again on Travel Buddies, where we travel with you. Solo, group trip, any type of trip. Make sure you have your travel buddy. And I'll see you in my next video. Peace.